Welcome back to the KMBest podcast, where our video viewers may note that I am constantly switching a cough drop from one cheek to the other because I think it makes me look fat when you can see the bulge from the cough drop. And I'm really worried and self-conscious that people who watch this podcast on video, all four of you, will think that my face looks fat today. Trust me, it is a cough drop, and also that my face looks fat today. There are multiple factors that must be considered here. Now, I'm KMBest. He's Gerry Thompson. I put a lot of thought into the intro I was going to do and did the cough drop bit instead. But the thing I planned to say when I got here was Marvel Snap, card games generally, there's a lot of RNG involved. You know? Some random outcomes. And that's an important thing. You know? That's an important thing. I just want to say that I think it's nice that we have a podcast where the RNG is whether or not you get to play the game. You know, we have the magic land system of podcasts where, like, sometimes you'll show up here and it's like, oh, it's a Marvel Snap podcast. And sometimes you'll show up here and it'll be decidedly not that. Sometimes you get land screwed. Sometimes you get land flooded. That's what this podcast is. And in this analogy, lands are us actually talking about the theoretical topic of the podcast.
Maybe our podcast should stop playing like 12 land.
You think it's a deck issue? You think we just built this wrong?
Well, it might be a podcasting skill diff, if you will.
Yeah, I remember, because one of the things that's really happened is Magic has made more utility lands, is the overall land count has gone up drastically, and as the lands have done things that aren't just being lands, they're half spells, half lands, they've really, like, eased off the fact that you can, like, really get screwed in this way. They've done a lot of mitigation for it.
So they have, but that's the thing is the count hasn't necessarily gone up, even though maybe it should have.
I think it hasn't. I feel like I noticed that process happening. I think, like when you think back to, like, Callblade 2012, right? We were like 27 land Callblade with tech edges. Like, that was a thing. It was like 26, 27. But people were shaving them down to like 24, 25 to get splashes and stuff in. And it's like, I feel like that was sort of the end of the debate for me, where it's just like, you should run probably one more land than you actually think you need every single time. And I felt like that percolated to the wider player base.
Well, I mostly did that, and especially it's just like, oh, well, if I'm adding a splash, I probably need an extra land to facilitate my heavier color requirements and whatnot. But I don't know, you get like some creature lands, some tech edges, fetches carry a certain amount of utility when you factor in things like a Mirror Angel Ponder or whatever. It's like, I don't know, lands are tight, and now, yeah, we have a lot of good utility lands, but I feel like people are still, I don't know, just probably playing too many of them and also not a high enough land count.
Not enough basics. Always the problem. You, for example, today you have a splash of red. You've decided to opt for flashing lightning bolt into your deck today. You know, I think a lot of the time when we go off topic, people think it's because there's not enough to talk about in the Marvel Snap world. And that's not true. It has absolutely no relation to that.
It's because we have ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
And everything is so fascinating.
Yeah, except when you say it like that, it sounds like I have ADHD and you're humoring me. Like, that's...
Oh, no, I have it worse than you do, I'm afraid. And everything is fascinating, and it's fascinating for like 10 seconds. And it's like, all right, I gotta get off of this.
So with that said, I mean, I don't even know if you know about this. Did you know I hosted a tournament last night?
No.
Yeah, I did a tournament. Worked with the guys who do the Golden Gauntlet stuff. So Gunny T and Models were the people that I worked with. That's not the entire team of people who are behind Golden Gauntlet, obviously. And that was clear from the production value, which was all on me and very bad. With incredible apologies to all the people who actually worked hard on this event, especially Scott, who did the camera work. He was an absolute savior. The two people from my community, Tori and Bryant, who did judge work, absolutely amazing. Models and Gunny, absolutely amazing. I spent 15 minutes of the stream trying to figure out how to get a Discord call to work in the middle of the stream. It's very much a me problem, not a them problem in terms of production value, but it was a blast. Couple of rule set things. I'm gonna tell you what the rule set was. I'm gonna ask you to tell me what you expected to happen, and we're gonna talk about what actually happened. So,
okay.
I just think this is interesting because you have a much greater sense of tournament rule sets. The biggest things that happened, the biggest parts of the rule set was, number one, RSM was banned, which I'm iffy on, but largely that was to facilitate rule set part number 2, which was you have to play a card that was released in the last 3 months. That is rule set number 2. You got to play a card from the last 3 months. And rule set number 3 is there is a cube-based scoring mechanism. And this is the part that I think is going to hit you like a brick to the face, because as a competitive player, you naturally think, why are we scoring based off of life points? That's a ridiculous thing to do. It obviously influences how things play, right? So if you won 10-0, that was effectively 20 points. If you won, like the way it works is you get effectively how many you have left plus the cubes you won. So that was the basic premise of the scoring there. So I guess point by point, we're going to go 1, 2, 3. What impact would you expect that to have on the tournament? Starting with any of the 3.
It's less of scoring by life total and more scoring by like game count. Like,
yeah,
did I win 3-0 or did I win like 2-1 or something? It's like kind of like that. I imagine that was a pretty big deal and also kind of weird. RSM banned was not a specific thing that was in the rule set, right? Like that just was extra given.
No, that was like, we're going to ban RSM.
You could only play cards that were released in the last 3 months.
No. You had your deck. Sorry, did I say this wrong? I must have said this wrong. Your deck has to include one of those cards.
Oh, okay. So you are punishing people for being poor.
Yes. That is the intent of the rule. No broke boys. No, they wanted to do it 2 months. I had them extended it to 3. A lot of the reason I was able to run this tournament was because they wanted to test their back end. My understanding is they're going to be using a similar, probably more restrictive rule set for a tournament in January, but they needed to make sure the bot actually functioned. So I was effectively their beta test case, where that rule is sort of baked into me getting the service that I got from them.
Okay, so that makes more sense, because if you could play RSM, it matters less if you are a broke boy, because you're like, oh, one of the new cards I have is a bad card, but I'll draw it less.
Also, to be clear, I want to be super clear about this, because I thought that was a funny joke, but it does occur to me that people might take it seriously. They did not intend to punish broke boys. That is not the express intent of the organization. That was me making a joke.
I would gather that I'm guessing that if you are involved enough to be playing in a community run tournament,
it wasn't
that it is probably not super restrictive, right? Like you are ingrained enough in the game and the community that this is probably not an issue for you. So I'm guessing it was not super restrictive.
I'll address that one. There were a couple really notable things that happened because of the restriction, right? And most of it was related to, there were just combo decks you couldn't build without playing some dog shit in it, right? Like, if you don't play Living Tribunal, what card are you playing from the last 3 months? Like, what's the card? The answer is you're not, right? Like, it just isn't happening, right? You can do a lot of stuff.
In that case, you're trying to save them from themselves.
Yes, but also, like, it is...
Look, homie, you should probably not play a Tribunal in this shit, because,
we are doing you a favor. It was also pretty hard to put a functional ongoing deck together. In order to do that, the really only viable build of that deck you could get to was, like, one that ran Superior Spider-Man, which, to be clear, I actually do think that's the best ongoing build. But it is a lot harder to have good representation from an archetype in a tournament when only one version of that archetype is viable, right? It's the only one you're legally allowed to bring. So I think largely one of the things that happened in this tournament, cards like Enchantress pretty heavily devalued, whereas cards like Cosmic Ghost Rider go up in relative comparison. That was something that I was pretty struck by. I talked to Safety Blade, who's like a pretty high-ranked player, about this. He brought an Echo in his deck, and we talked after the tournament effectively, and he was like, yeah, I just totally missed on like that you couldn't actually bring a functioning ongoing deck, and so I brought this Echo card thinking that people would actually be playing that deck.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I would guess that the restriction thing had very little impact, and then that one's 2. The least impactful is RSM, and then the most impactful is the scoring system.
I'm gonna name 3 decks that were not in this tournament. Okay, and then you tell me how I feel about this restriction. Hela, Clog, and any kind of Gambit discard. There was one Gambit. Yeah, exactly. There was one Gambit in the field. It was in like a Black Bolt stature deck. It was the only Gambit in the field. There were 0 Hellas because you couldn't make it work. There were like some pseudo Clog decks. Like, oh, I'm running Annihilus in my Sentry deck. You know, like I've got Annihilus and Sentry in the hood. That's not a Clog deck. There was a deck that was running a small Clog package with like just specifically Green Goblin to Titania. Not a Clog deck. That's just not what's happening here. There were 0 actual Clog decks, which I think is an absolute win, and 0 Hela decks, which is an even bigger absolute win.
How many people do you think would have been playing Hela or Clog if there were no restrictions?
More than 0.
Sure, but
in the sense that Denish, the Hela main, was in the bracket, tried a bunch of things to try to make Hela work in the rule set, and it didn't. So there you go. I think it would have been a number of people would have gotten to that point, and none of them were doing it.
And then he just like, F this, and just dropped.
He played a Sauron deck, which I actually thought was pretty cool, because in the absence of Arisham, there's kind of an open question as to like what the best hidden information deck is. And Nightmare was an answer a pretty decent amount of smart players came to, where it's like, if I want to just like juice cubes from my opponent in this format, I'm going to do it with some kind of hidden information. Nightmare was a card that came up.
Sure.
And yeah, the scoring definitely mattered. And here's what I'll say. I don't know. I can't disentangle whether the scoring was what was causing people to do this, because it also happened in the top 8. But holy crap, I have never seen so many 8-cube games. It actually feels like the scoring did the job of making the broadcast more exciting, which I'll be honest, I did not expect to happen. I expected it to be a bunch of risk aversion. But
yeah,
it was
a bunch of nitty players.
It was just 8-cube farming. Like what would happen almost every game we watched, someone would win an 8-cube within the first 3 games, and then the entire rest of the set would be an attempted run back, which was great viewing. Note, I don't think a single run back ever happened, but the idea that it could have happened and that was what we were watching, really compelling stuff for competitive Marvel Snap. I actually was pretty surprised by that.
How much do you know about poker?
Not nearly enough to win money playing it.
Okay. Do you know what a straddle is?
No. It's what I have in my basement? I mean, what?
But I thought we established I'm in your basement.
You have sort of
that's what that thing is.
There's only one direction I can take this joke now. You've kind of like put me in a corner where I can only make the joke that I ride you around places. Like that is that's really the only direction I can go here. I didn't want to do it.
No, that's a saddle.
Straddling is to stand astride something. I feel like very legally I could say that like I am riding you around.
So as a house player, sometimes we would sit in games if we didn't really have enough people. or if the game was super tight.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to give the game a little bit of action in order to get people to loosen up and, just start playing more hands, building bigger pots that you can rake more. Because it's normally like you can rake 10% of the pot, capped at 5 or whatever, And we overraked, to be clear. That was one of the things that we were trained to do. But straddling is like, if the blinds are, for example, like 1 and 2, you would either straddle under the gun and make it 5, or if
I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming it means you are increasing the amount of money in the pot.
It's like a blind raise, effectively.
Okay.
And then if you really wanted to juice the game, you would allow straddles from anywhere. And the most common one would be the button, because the button is the strongest, because you get to act last after everyone. You straddle from the button. And it is generally, it goes around the table.
I want to be clear.
Button
not a sex thing. Like, it's not a sex thing. It sounds so incredibly like one.
I think that whoever came up with these terms and these rules was probably a little bit of a weirdo. It's like reading the Wonder Woman comics or whatever, right? You're like, in hindsight.
Yeah, you had one hand somewhere else while this was being written down. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're concepting this thing and you introduce it to, I don't know, your bar buddies or whatever. They're like, okay, yeah, let's do it.
Why are your bar buddies from Georgia?
I don't know. Because giddy up.
Okay. Now they're from Texas. All right.
Same thing, really.
Man.
I actually like Georgia.
Interesting. All right, we're digressing. Why do you like Georgia and not like Texas?
I don't know how, but Georgia has produced like some of my favorite people.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, I would say mine too, and then like list off like Gucci Mane or something. But Gucci Mane's actually from Alabama. This is a crucial part of his beef with Young Jeezy. This came up. Anyway, you don't know who that is.
Anyway, it sounds like this rule kind of induced action, which I would have guessed that it would have had the opposite effect. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, I was surprised as well. But then, like, I thought it was the rule, right? And we get into the top 8, and there's no cube-related rules in the top 8. It's just normal top 8. And everyone is still doing this.
Well, it's hard to switch gears, right?
Yeah, like I don't know if that's just like they were all in that mode, or the alternate hypothesis is we just got a bunch of players who were like that. That's just what, like, it's like we can't really learn anything from this. We just got a bunch of people who were like, I'm playing for 8. I'm not thinking about this. But it was great viewing.
Well, it's kind of why I hate Conquest, and I think it is sort of the ADHD relatedness of it, where it's just like it just takes too long. You're playing the same matchup. It just gets boring. And I'm just like, get this over with. Like, get me out of here. What are we doing?
Yeah.
I'm leaving after this game one way or another. Double the stakes, triple the stakes.
Yeah, Conquest is in such a weird spot, I think, largely because, like, there's no incentive for Second Dinner to make it better because it sucks so bad that nobody plays it. And so it's like, us making it better would be throwing bad money after, or good money after bad, right? But also, it sucks so bad that nobody plays it. And so it's like, well, how is that a problem ever going to get solved? What's going on
All
there?
Right.
Like, what
check this out.
Is the plan just to leave it there like a black hole? Like, I don't know what the deal is.
Yeah, well, I think it's a thing where people who are in the know just don't click on it. They're like, "Oh yeah, that is a trap. You're not supposed to go there, right?"
Yeah.
And then other people might be like, "Oh, game mode. I could just farm this thing for free ducats or whatever." And it's like, "Okay, yeah. Yeah, do that. Have fun." You know what they could do though? I just thought about this.
That's every idea on this podcast.
Yeah, imagine that. After every game, in Conquest, it gives you an option of like 3 different power-ups, and you select one of them.
Oh, you're saying make it a roguelike.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could do. I think I will say this. I think if they could do Slay the Spire, they probably would have by now. I think.
No, they can. They just don't want to battlegrounds it and make it better than their actual game.
Sure,
that would be terrible.
That's the other risk. But I mean, like, that's when Hearthstone did that roguelike thing. That was the treasure game mode they did. It came out with kobolds and catacombs, and I remember it being fairly well liked, but it wasn't battlegrounds, Like, I don't think there's a risk but maybe the roguelike genre has just become such a much bigger thing post Slay the Spire, Balatro. Maybe that's just like a bigger thing that like the genre is more ripe for it, or the time is more ripe for it now, that it would be a risk of that in the way that like Hearthstone Battlegrounds came out when auto battlers were the thing in the space.
Look at like Hades also.
For some reason, I think that's just a very different experience. Probably the A part of it, like an action roguelike,
Sure, but I'm just saying, like, that sort of thing is mainstream. I feel like 5 years ago, you ask people what a roguelike or roguelite is, and they're just like, I don't know, is that like a straddle? They're just like, I've never heard this term. I feel like I might know what it means.
The roguelite is like a slightly like more stripped down version of a straddle, Like if you're really trying to strap someone down, you need to get the roguelike. But like if you just like want to do some light bondage, I think a roguelite will do, That's
Casual Friday.
Dude,
but now
in Gimp Mask at Casual Friday.
Yeah.
That's sick as hell.
But oh man, that reminds me of a story. Never mind.
What do you mean? That reminds you of a story.
I might have told you this story. As with most of my stories, it doesn't involve me. I will tell you after the podcast.
You have lived a bottom 5 life of all time. If that
no, like I said, most of my
stories
stories don't involve me. This does not involve me.
Okay. Sure. I feel like I could just like throw Mad Libs combinations of words at you, and the weirder they are, the more likely I think they'd be like, oh yeah, there was a Magic player who did that. The more I think there are just a lot of combinations of words that would just get you somewhere in your brain. It would just jog like dormant parts of your brain where you heard about like John fucking Suck who won a PTQ.
Oh
once.
Yeah,
like
no, it's like the word association game. You're like, I'm gonna say a word, you name a Magic player.
Yeah, that is a game.
That'd be so sick.
That is a sick game. That is the greatest game anyone's ever invented. I think. That rocks absolutely. See, I feel like I wanted to throw rocks at you there, and then I realized that would be like too tied into people's drug habits, and it was just like, I don't actually want that on this podcast. I don't want you doing word association with synonyms for. I mean, like to me, that tracks as cocaine, which I would imagine in the Adderall infused world of Magic the Gathering, relatively popular drug. Who can say? Okay. I will say this. I think that we need to get back off the Gimp Mask Casual Friday and back to the conversation about roguelikes and roguelites, which they have gone mainstream in a way that maybe this is a bigger risk for Second Dinner than it would have been in 2016 when the company didn't exist. And Ben Brode was actually still leading the company when they did the game mode that way.
I bet their second game is going to be really good.
Dude, I don't know, man. They're making so much money off of these bundles they're throwing at us that, like, if it's not really good, I feel like we should get like Kickstarter Patreon status for whatever their second game is. You know what I mean?
Wait, what bundles?
Oh, there's a Rocket and Groot bundle in the in the store right now that's like $100 for a Christmas rocketing group, but it comes with 2 Series 5 packs, 8,000 credits, and 8,000 tokens. It's like a great deal, but it's also $100 for a JPEG. It's like, it's sick as hell. Like for context though, I've probably played about 150 hours of Mountain Blade Bannerlord this month, and that costs $30. So like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how your valuations are going for that, but I
played about 150 hours of Grand Arena, and I got a fastball special, so I'm right there with you.
150. I don't believe you. You played.
No, it just felt like that because it wasn't a roguelike game mode.
They should do a roguelike event at some point, and
they should not.
You think not? Really?
No, because I think if you do it bad, then people are going to be like, "Oh, this is bad. This really sucks." But if you do it really good, they're going to be like, "I just want that."
I'll be honest.
It's crack,
with you,
man.
I just don't think that they have that in them. Like, when have you ever seen a game mode get that reaction in Marvel Snap? One time.
And how many game modes have been roguelikes?
All right, you got me there, I suppose. Like
the only games in recent memory that have gotten me like hardcore addicted are like Vampire Survivors and Ball Pit, where I'm just like, oh shit, I played 15 hours a day for 4 days in a row or whatever.
Yeah, like that was Mountain Blade for me. I didn't realize that they made a game that was aimed this squarely at the person that I am. Mountain Blade is a combination grand tactics, like, here's a giant map with a bunch of cities on it you got to conquer, etc. thing. And also individual person. So when you do go to like conquer a city or whatever, you are like John Skyrim fighting 1,000 people with your army. Like it is a game that is aimed so insanely squarely at me because it is also set in a very, very clear, like not the Byzantine Empire. Like that's like it's a very much that, right? So it just hit me. It hit me like a truck, and occasionally I will be sore from playing so much of the game. Like my hands will actually hurt for multiple days, and I will have to stop playing the game because I will have played for 15 hours or something like that.
Yeah, my hands hurt from gaming, but that's just because I'm old.
I'm not used to this. And I used to play Monster Hunter when you had to use, like, on the PSP, the best way to play Monster Hunter, you need, like, independent control of the camera, right? So the way you'd play is instead of having your hands here, in order to get independent control of the camera, you'd have to lower this one to here, right? And you'd move the D-pad around. It was called the claw. That's what it was referred to as. And it was the only way to be good at any of the PSP Monster Hunters was you had to use your index finger or your third finger, depending on how flexible you were, to manipulate the D-pad while you were running around with your thumb. Because the D-pad was below, or not necessarily below, I'm trying to remember exactly. I want to say D-pad was on the right side, and you needed to have your finger be able to reach the top and the bottom of the D-pad. It was a huge pain in the ass. I'm used to contorting my fingers for video games, is largely my point. I'm very used to it.
That's awful. That's one of those things where it's like, you need to pay your QA people more, or at least like listen to them. Because I can't imagine anyone ever played that game and was like, oh, this is easy.
It is the greatest game experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like, genuinely, the fact that ethos gels so well with the ethos of Monster Hunter, which is basically, back in the day, Monster Hunter was just like, this is hard as fuck. You're gonna have to be actually good at this game if you want to actually do it. Or what gaming was at the time, which is to say, if you go back in time and play those old Monster Hunter games, having played the entire world of genres that spawn from them, including, I would argue, the Souls-like, because the loop of those games, very hard to kill bosses, very telegraphed attack patterns. You memorize their attacks, you beat the bosses with your weapons, right? Like that.
Yep.
That is it's proto Souls. Like that's what Monster Hunter was. And now that everyone has played all these like new Souls bosses that do things like slow down deliberately and disguise their attacks, you go back to Dark Souls 1, you're like, this is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life. In much the same way, if you go back to an early Monster Hunter game, you're like, this is a joke. However, it was for teenage me the formative gaming experience of my entire life. It is. I don't think I will ever play a game that I feel that way about again. Marvel Snap is as close as I have got. Mountain Blade is as close as I have gotten. That is it. Those are like, Skyrim is up there in terms of just like, I will play this game for 1,000 hours.
Hello, Cat. Kitten has arrived. Hello, Kitten.
Which is a long way of saying not a roguelike person. Not really my bag. I need so much of my taste in games can be summed up in if there's a gun or a ball in it, I don't like it. That is generally how it goes.
That's fair.
I was into FIFA for a little bit. That's like a pretty decent, for the ball game genre. It's a pretty decent ball game. But like, generally speaking, if I've put a lot of time into a game, it probably involves like knights and swords and stuff most of the time.
What about Final Fantasy X?
Never actually played Final Fantasy X. Went to some friends' houses and watched it happen. Never played it.
Mm. It's got a sports ball game.
Oh yeah, it's Blitzball.
Yeah, and one of the dudes uses a ball as a weapon, and he's also the only person who can hit flyers for some reason. Everyone else's attacks just constantly miss. It's the most annoying shit of all time.
That's sick as hell. That's a great that is an incredible game design choice there.
Yeah, that's what I said. One of their major mechanics is, you just get time walked over and over again.
What?
Like your mages have a bunch of evasion stats for some reason, and then their flyers can't really get hit by melee attacks. So a lot of it is, I attack and I miss, you attack and you miss, I attack and I miss, you attack and you miss. And it's just like, how is this a thing?
That sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Sounds awful. Isn't that like generally regarded as one of the best Final Fantasy games?
It is. I replayed most of it a few weeks ago, so it's like fresh in my mind. And I was just like, this is the dumbest shit of all time. But I think that the thing I sent to Niall was like 2 major complaints. One of them was that. I think the other thing was about like how on rails it was, which is true. But then the third thing was I'm having fun. And she was like, yeah, this is the most FF10 review I've ever seen. Like, this is accurate.
I think my knowledge of FF10, like I'm familiar with the basic cast. The guy who in the cast is like he's this old guy, right? He's old as dirt. He's the old man of the party. He's the oldest dude. He's like 33.
Oron.
Yes. He's like 33 years old, and she's like, oh dude, it's over for you. These young kids are gonna get you. And like you have Titus and Yuna. Apparently it is pronounced Titus. I always thought it was Titus. That's ridiculous. Yep. Like even for Final Fantasy, it's just like, what is your actual problem here? They're just like running around doing 6-7, and Oron is like, oh, dude, cut it out with
they
keep
okay boomering the 33-year-old.
Yeah, it's like they're just running around doing this all the time, and he's just like, what does that mean? Like, that's sort of how it works, I think. I want to circle back to Marvel Snap. This is like when you sort of top deck, you're out. You know what I mean?
Why?
I have other stuff to talk about from the tournament. You'll understand in a second. You'll understand with this very next sentence. The guy who won the tournament, he DM'd me afterward and said, thanks for the deck recommendation. So I'm 2 for 2, baby. I got Monty and I got this guy. I made a video that was like, here are the decks I would take to win my very own tournament, taking into account the deck building restrictions and all that. The first deck on the list is a ramp deck. He took that exact 12. He won the tournament, which I bring up mostly to suck myself off. This is important to me, right? Like that. It's really to big myself up here, to sort of attach myself like a leech to people who have actually done things. A barn, if you will.
You're barning yourself. See, if you were a good hull, you would have your own barns. And they could do that for you.
You're right.
They would build you up.
I need to cultivate my barns. I need to cultivate some barns. Does anyone in the comments want to be my barn? Does anyone in the comments feel like doing that for me? Just like leaving, like, like the reverse of what people do for Jeff Hoagland. I want them to do that for me. Like just go to like other creators and be like, have you heard about this guy? Actually, don't do that. That sounds awful. That sounds terrible.
No, it's weird. Let's talk about this for a second, because it's not related to Marvel Snap, and I might have ADHD, as we've already mentioned.
It sounds possible.
The concept of a barn, or I guess the mentality of a barn, is like, that's my guy. There are people out there who are like, that's my guy. I'm gonna do anything and everything for that guy. And I feel like we don't really have that anymore. Like we kind of, I feel like people are like that for sports maybe. And it is good because you can't really, you can be parasocial, I guess, with like sports ball people, but like they'll never know about it. But for like any other normal, any other like content creator, it's just like you can kind of just interact with them normally, And
I can think of an example that I think you're missing. It's a big one. I think we talk about a really, really big content creator, like really, really big content creator who perhaps has maybe the most barns in the history of barns. I am talking, of course, about President Donald Trump.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
That's my guy.
Yeah, dude, but like, that is like, I will do anything and everything for him, including going to the Capitol and just kind of breaking in and like walking around a little bit. Like, just I'm gonna go to the Capitol. I'm gonna go rah, and I'm gonna like walk around a little bit. I'm gonna take a shit on Nancy Pelosi's desk. I'm gonna like.
Well, that's actually fine. I'm down with that.
It's one of those things like, you don't gotta hand it to him, but like, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, the guy you hate the most just made a really good point, kind of thing.
It's a classic leftist move, is like around the holidays, your Republican family, you're like, oh, I hate liberals too.
yeah, it's like, the one thing they can bond over.
It's a classic left-wing guy move to be like, you walk up to your like, Republican uncle, he's wearing a MAGA hat, and you're like, fucking Hillary Clinton, am I right?
Yeah.
That's every left-wing person who has ever lived in the South knows that move. 100%.
You should have saved the Trump thing to the end, because I was about to lament the death of the barnacle, because it feels like in this day and age you get so many haters.
Sure. As
a content creator, people just like show up in your chat and like give you shit because they don't want to be seen as a barn. Right?
Yeah.
And it looks pathetic, because it's like, well, you're here. You're like, you would say that you're not engaging in hate watching, but like you kind of are. But that's just like your way of showing love and appreciation, is just like clowning on them whenever you can, or like the way to get noticed by them. Whereas before it used to be like, oh, you need, 4 days for this legacy challenge. Like, let me open a trade with you, kind of thing, which is a thing that literally happened to me. And I was like, whoa, these are like 30 tickets or whatever. And it's like, I don't want to borrow these. And they're like, you don't have to borrow them. You can just have them.
Must have been a real eye-opening moment for you. People were just like, here, have some free stuff. Dude, that happened to me. That happened to me. The prizes for this tournament were entirely donated by the guy from PAX. Well, except for the cash. That was me. But the prizes for this tournament, he was just like, hey, man, are you doing a tournament tomorrow? And I was like, yeah, I figure you're messaging me because you were like, oh, you want to sponsor it? What about like a banner or something like that, right? He was like, no. Here are 1 million codes. Give away those codes. Just like, what the hell? Like, okay. That's insane. Thank you. I mean, I know that's what the codes are for, but it is still insane. So everyone who entered the tournament is now getting a PAX code thanks to that. It's dope as hell. Yeah.
That's super nice.
Yeah, it was just like, I really appreciate the opportunity to give back. Thanks to Ryan from PAX, who was absolutely the man about that shit. Like, it was just like, that's the coolest shit ever. I don't like the implication that he's my barn, though, because he definitely isn't.
No. I mean, you brought that up. I wouldn't, but
I brought it up because like someone did something nice for me, you know?
Yeah, I don't think the Days person was like my barn either necessarily, but it was like, you just don't see that behavior now. And it's like person who has never chatted, like first time chatter being like, oh, hey, I have those. You can just have them.
I actually do see some of that behavior. People ask me to stream more so they can give me money. And it's just like, thank you. But, you know.
Also, you could just do that.
Yeah, like, it's just one of those things where it's just like, really? Me?
But they want to feel like they're getting something out of it, you know?
You think so?
Well, they're like, I will pay you for your service, but like, I want you to provide the service. I don't want to just give you money.
Sure.
I want you to entertain me.
I mean, dubious that I do that in the first place. We'll see. But yeah, I haven't streamed up until the tournament in like 4 weeks.
Damn.
I legit was just like, I need to take this time to myself, try to learn more about myself, play 150 hours of Mountain Blade Bannerlord, learn absolutely nothing about myself that feels like it's actionable, and then come back to streaming having missed the most advertisement-rich month of the year in order to learn absolutely nothing about myself. That was what I did this month. Now, does that mean I haven't been playing Marvel Snap? It unfortunately, well, depending on how you look at it, does not. I have still been playing Marvel Snap. Someone sent me a new phone. This is another thing. Someone mailed me a phone. Just like, hey, I've got an old phone. Do you want my phone? Because my old phone was going to blow up. It mailed me a phone.
I wonder what kind of spyware it has on it.
I don't really think my identity is worth stealing. Like, I do okay for myself, but
no, it's not about that. It's just this is the same person who is like, I want you to stream more so I can pay you money. Now they have the stream on 24/7.
I am going to be honest with you. I don't really think you're going to get much out of that. You know? Like, you want to see me without my shirt on? Imagine the Pillsbury Doughboy from, not the Pillsbury Doughboy, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. But I want you to imagine. It looks like that.
It and the Doughboy are pretty similar, though.
Yeah, I wonder if it was like a, I wasn't alive. I don't know if Stay Puffed was an actual marshmallow brand. I feel like you could tell me they made that up for the movie to resemble the Pillsbury Doughboy. And I would be like,
I think it was inspired by, like, how do we make a movie where there's a giant Doughboy on the rampage?
And I wasn't alive yet, so they couldn't use me.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. I think, but yeah, like, it's just one of those things where, like, people do nice stuff for me. There's also plenty of mean stuff, but I won't sit here and act like it's not nice, you know? Like, there's no nice things that happen for me. I won't sit here and act like that. People are incredibly overly nice to me, more than I deserve.
Yeah, like, that's not barn behavior. That's like people just being good people. And it is people like that who do kind of restore my faith in humanity a little bit. But the broader point is just that if someone is just very clearly like, that's my guying you in chat, people are just going to make fun of them.
True.
And that person is just trying to like live vicariously through you or whatever. And people are just going to shit on that for some reason. Like, oh, you're having fun? Fuck you. You know? And it's just like, come on, just let them.
Until you get to the point of like an actual big streamer, right? And then the dick riding becomes like, that actually is my guy. Like when you get to like a sort of like Plaque Boy Max, naming a name you don't know who that is.
No,
I understand that. Those dudes have dick riders.
that's one of those things where it's just like, if you were a form of media, like some 2025 Netflix show,
you would reference Plaque Boy Max. Yes, like that is
or like, oh, Law and Order is investigating the brutal murder of Plaque Boy Max or some shit.
Yes,
like they would just, oh yeah, famous live streamer.
Yes, yeah. This happens to me because my Twitter algorithm is the problem with the Twitter algorithm is it's based on like retention, right? So I'll watch a lot of this dumbass garbage, right? Because it'll be in like video format, so I'm just more likely to watch it by nature, right? Even though what I want on my page is like just image posts, I don't want any videos. They are technically retention. And so it thinks that I like that. And so the two types of videos I get on my algorithm are streamer drama stuff. So like I am unfortunately entirely familiar with the breakup of FaZe Clan, which Plaque Boy Max was a part of until about 6 months ago. That has been happening over the last 2 days in the streamer world. I know way more about that than anyone actually ever should. These guys are all extremely successful and, to my eyes, dumb as hell. That is how I would phrase it. It also knows that I like pop music. So, like, I was in the car, and a song by Zara Larsson was playing.
I have no idea who that is.
Who is that? And I knew who that was because of the amount of clips of Midnight Sun that have showed up on my Twitter feed. I know not only that she's the Midnight Sun lady, but that her whole career was reinvented because of a dolphin meme, and she has escaped the Kia Asylum. I know what the Kia Asylum is. I'm 32 years old.
Oh, you're Oron.
Yeah, dude, I shouldn't know any of this. Hey, like, it's unbelievable that I know any of this stuff. I hate that I know this stuff. But what am I going to do? Stop scrolling? Fuck you. What? I'm not going to stop scrolling. I'm going to learn more about Lacey and Ron and all of them. I'm going to learn more about FaZe Banks, who for some reason is still relevant in 2025. I don't know why I know about this stuff, but I do. God damn it, I do.
I don't know. I have heard of FaZe Clan. I will say that much, but certainly the individuals involved, the characters, I am not caught up, and I'm good with that, you know?
That's where I want to be, but the algorithm just like it grabs me by the scruff of the neck and is like, stable Ronaldo issues statement on the FaZe Clan breakup. It just shoves my face into it. I know about all of that stuff. It is a deep curse. I don't want to.
I think the difference is I just kind of hate watching videos. Like, I know that neither of us really leaves our house all that often.
Correct.
But when I do, it is very jarring, and I'm in like the most public of places. Like I'm in airports and like train stations and stuff like that. And the frequency with which people are just listening to things like full blast on their phone or whatever drives me insane. And like, I don't ever want to do that. I don't ever want to inconvenience anyone, but I also don't want people knowing like what I am watching or listening to. And like all of this just makes it very unlikely for me to like click on videos in general too. So I don't know.
I feel like
that, like I see that stuff, I just scroll by.
I feel like you could embarrass yourself anyway though, right? Like I have a very vivid memory of I don't remember the last time I was in an airport or like a couple times ago. Sitting at my gate. A guy comes up and sits a couple chairs down from me. Like a short guy wearing a beanie, medium-sized beard. And he pulls out 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. And it's like, dude, you don't need to be blasting music to embarrass yourself publicly. Like, you can do that with just a book, dog. You can do the man embarrasses himself with media consumption the old-fashioned way. That's how we used to do it in America, by pulling out a book like that. Well, you don't want to talk about my boy JP?
No.
You want to talk about my guy? My guy, Jay Pizzle? All right. I guess this brings me to, and I don't know how you feel about me talking about this one on the podcast, so I'm gonna ambush you with it, and if you're uncomfortable with it, let me know. But I saw an amazing tweet, and I sent it to you, and I think it's the sickest shit I've ever seen in my entire life. So I'm gonna read.
Yeah, let's talk about it.
We're going to do a dramatic reading of this tweet that I saw from a Riftbound, I guess you'd call him a Riftbound pro player. I don't really know if that's a fair thing to say, but I believe that's what he is.
LOL, not like League of Legends, but like LOL at Riftbound pro player. Like,
I kind of thought I'd get that reaction, yeah. Game's been out for like a month. So it's like, okay, you know? But it is, here's the quote. I watched some old Magic the Gathering footage the past days. With all due respect, I understand why card games influenced by these Magic guys have problems. The industry does the equivalent of hiring the Command and Conquer guys to play, test, and design League of Legends. And the comment then responds, you know, the game director for Riftbound is a former Magic developer. And then this guy responds to that, I don't know the lore. He seems great. Humility goes a long way. Which, to me, is sort of the punchline of this whole deal, to me, is to make a statement positively comparing your game with, you know, the dinosaur that is Magic the Gathering. Everyone does that, right? Everyone is like, oh, this is better than Magic. That's a normal thing to happen. Totally fine with it. And then to say that games developed by Magic players are just bad when you play a game developed by Magic players. Yeah. And then to follow that up with humility goes a long way, implying the designers are humble and that led to their success, and not that your take needed a little more humility in it in the first place. I love that. That is the perfect internet thing for me. But I bring this up not just to like randomly dunk on this guy. I bring this up to say that I think he actually kind of has a point. It's not necessarily a great point. Like, and he definitely doesn't express it the right way, I would say. But is there something to the idea that these systems and mechanics, like largely the mistake he makes is that he assumes that Magic players aren't familiar with the flaws of Magic? Like, that's really the big thing that he's like, oh, Magic is like this, therefore all of its players therefore must be like this, and it's just not true. But he is right that Magic is kind of a high tolerance for non-games compared to other games, I would say.
Yes, but oddly enough, I'm sure these things aren't related. Magic is the only game that's been around for 30 years. You know? Yeah, high tolerance for non-games, sure, but like variance is good. When are people going to learn that? Like the problem with when like hardcore Magic people set out to design a game like, oh, I'm going to make Magic but better.
That's, you know, that sucks for sure.
Is they're just like, I'm going to take out lands. Again, look at Hearthstone. They have variants in their game. People still rage about it, but they put it in different places, right? And places that are a little bit more in your face and obvious, parts like Knife Juggler, where at its onset, it's just like, oh, this is like straight up like punching you in the face. And you're just like, you are seeing the randomness like straight up cost you a game. Everything was fine up until that point, and then it's just like all of your juggles win face or something, and then you just died.
I have a theory of game design, which is that the best possible game design does not actually result in what is you'd call like a balanced game or a fair game. What it results in is the appearance of that. You want things to appear as if you did not get screwed over. You want the player to have, if they actually have agency, that's great. But the thing you want is the illusion of agency, the feeling that they have agency. And you can give them that feeling by actually giving them agency, but it's not the only way you can give them that feeling. And I think that's like, in as much as like I'm willing to steel man this take, which I will say the humility goes a long way thing made me a lot less willing to do it. Because like I saw that, I was like, Jesus Christ, dude. But like the rest of it, like in as much as I'm willing to, one of the things that Magic's land system does, and I think, it's very easy for us to say, variance is important in card games. I think everyone kind of gets that. And if you don't get that, I don't really want to have this conversation with you, because it requires a baseline understanding of that to actually have the conversation I want to have, which is what Magic's land system does that is so goddamn incredible is change the texture of similar games. A game can play out completely differently in the exact same matchup based entirely on how things lined up with your lands. A land can be your best draw. It can be your worst draw. That texture change is something that is, I think people have done a lot of work improving on Magic's systems. I really do. I think they have tried very hard to do it. Making the texture of a game different is different than introducing variance into that game. Variance works in service of making the texture different. That's why it's important, right? It's not just that we need the worst players to win. It's also that we need the games to feel different. We need outcomes that are different. We need things to not feel like they're on rails. That illusion of agency.
It's why roguelikes are kind of taken over, because you're getting a different experience every time, even if it's like just slightly different or whatever. Maybe you see the appeal of like, oh, I could get like this super combo if I get like all the things I want in the same run or whatever, and they're just chasing that high. But if every single run was the exact same, leading up to it, then you're probably, the juice is not worth the squeeze, right? You're just like, well, I'm not going to sit through the exact same thing 20 times in order to get a different experience. Like the journey is a lot of the fun at that point. You're like, oh, I have an objective. I'm chasing this thing, but like every game I play is like different. And I think that this is sort of the problem with Conquest, where it is so samey. I just hate it so much, right?
Because there aren't enough locations that actually change the texture of a game. That's my fundamental contention, is that like there are some, but the role of changing texture, or maybe not enough is the wrong word. There are not nearly so many different textures in Marvel Snap as there are in Magic the Gathering, thanks to the land system. Simply are not.
I think they're just more extreme, because some of them are just like, oh, you can't play the game or whatever,
Yes.
or things like, cloning vats or Nidavellir when I'm playing Destroy or something. It's just like, well, these are stupid. I just go bananas now. And they're like really good for me, but kind of mid for you,
Yeah, and that happens like 10% of games, and the other 90%, the locations are just like kind of there.
Yeah.
And
it's like, okay, we got a 2/2 or something.
Yeah, like it's the location that buffs this guy, it's the location that makes a zombie horde, like a lot of those, right? And that is in response to, largely, I would argue, there is no like gradation with locations. When you get mana screwed or mana flooded, you can get a little bit mana screwed, you can get a lot mana screwed. When you get world ship, that's world ship. Like that's just what it is. There's no like up down here. And so the extremity of it means that they have to be a little bit heavy on the reins of the ones that are actually pretty extreme.
Lamentis, was that the draw 3, blow up your deck?
Yes, it was. Draw 3, blow up your deck. Death is free. Play leech. Worst shit on earth. Absolutely.
Yeah, very cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
It is an absolutely sickening, incredible thing that happened there. But yeah, like they, by definition, almost don't have the ability to have as much texture as lands can add to a Magic game. And I think that, like, in as much as the point this person is making is there are just there's a lot of tolerance for non-games in Magic system. I think that is true. I just think that, like, what he's missing is, because of that tolerance, they are able to have an extremely dynamic and lasting game. And the less of that tolerance you have, the quicker people have experienced everything your game has to offer.
Yeah. And then what? Like, when you've had all the experiences, how replayable is it? And
that's actually
roguelikes are up there. And I think that's why people are logging like 500 hours on Slay the Spire or whatever. And a lot of the stuff that you pay $30 to $70 for now is like, oh, I play for 40 hours, maybe.
Yep. I think that Marvel Snap's biggest advantage is the replayability of it, which is in no way due to design. Well, not in no way. It's entirely down to how fast it is. If Marvel Snap games were longer, it would not have nearly the replayability.
No, true, for sure. Because you can just be like, oh, I'll go next, right? But I think the release cadence is also a big part of that, where it's like, oh, there's a new card every week.
Yeah.
You know? I think that helps a lot.
This is just a long way of saying that, like, I think largely speaking, like, you know, maybe there is like a saturation of former Wizards people, you know, maybe there's just kind of everywhere. I'm willing to believe that, but I think largely that's because they actually are pretty good at their jobs. Like, if I had to guess,
a lot of them are, or even if you start off being like, you know, like mid-level Magic Pro, gets hired by game company, is probably not the best hire possible or whatever, but like they can learn on the job. And a lot of this is like speaking from my own personal experience. I feel like I check a lot of those boxes where it's like, certainly when I got hired, in hindsight, looking back, it's like I was dumb as shit. I was willing to learn though.
Yeah, actually reminds me of something. Glenn Jones has been in my Discord for 3 years. I have known that Glenn Jones has been in my Discord for 3 years. He reads a pretty decent amount of the messages that get sent in my Discord. He broke his own incognito ability by accidentally responding to something, and everyone was like, holy shit, he's been here. He's been seeing this the entire time. And my Discord is, I would argue, a generally pretty kind one to the devs, but I am aware that, like, I know Glenn has seen some messages that if I were Glenn, I would be like, fuck that guy. Like, I know that. I got a huge kick out of that, because, like, he basically showed up, responded to a link, and then was like, oops. He didn't mean to like actually admit, because I've offered like, hey man, do you want like a role? And he was like, nah, I'm good. I really want people to know. I don't want to, you know, make a thing out of it. Right. And he just shows up, gets like 18 reacts of like skull emojis. Like,
yeah.
Like,
that's great.
Like, don't cleanse your dad's home. And I bring this up to say that, like, I don't know how, I think I think my Discord is relatively like kind, right?
You know, you can just look to see who's like in a Discord, right?
I have known this the entire time. I didn't bring it up out of respect for him, but now that he's blown his own cover, I'm bringing it up. Like,
yeah.
But
I don't know. Before you say some head ass stuff, I don't know. Maybe check who's gonna read it.
I mean, like, I gotta imagine. I don't know how much he actually reads, but I do know for a fact that there are people in there who have sent shitty messages about the devs that he has seen. Like, I know for a fact. That's the long story of that, is I know it has happened. And I think that largely I don't think I would have the restraint that he does. Is what I will say.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I don't know if Glenn utilizes this feature. Probably not,
Hmm.
because it just means that he would get to keep seeing things. But like, you could just mute people, and I feel like once someone is clearly not operating in good faith, then you can just put them on the block list or whatever and not see their shit anymore.
Yeah.
Which is maybe a good thing, maybe a bad thing, depending on what you are trying to get out of your experience, you know?
My impression is that Glenn is genuinely dedicated towards learning what the player base thinks, which I think is both incredibly respectable and very dumb. I have the utmost respect for his ability to do that. My psyche could not handle it. So when I say I think it's very dumb, it's from the perspective of being me. If I had to do that, I would lose my mind. Clearly, he is cut from a different cloth, that he actually is able to do this thing.
So I've known Glenn for a while, at least 15 years, maybe a little bit more. And he is cut from the cloth of Florida Magic players, and specifically like the Florida Magic money drafters.
Was he in the steroid gym? The Florida steroid.
No.
Florida steroid. Dude,
not that I know of.
Glenn Jones. That's sick, dude.
What if he was? And then it's just like, maybe the Discord people would be more scared of him, you know?
I for those who
Glenn
are unaware,
just
there was
shows
like
up
a
at your house.
There's like a famous Florida LGS where just like basically half the LGS went on steroids, which rocks.
It's
like
it's not famous. I just found out about it.
You told me about that a year ago.
Yeah.
What is your definition of
I found out about it then.
Oh, okay.
I found out about it then.
Okay. It's like that sounds like my mecca. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
That's where I was born to be.
the way it was told to me, I don't know if this is like actual true or not, but the way it was told to me was that like one of the guys was like, you know, on steroids or some illegal supplements or whatever, and was super jacked, and then you just like go in for Friday Night Magic draft, and it's just like one jack guy at the table, and then pretty soon you sit down and it's 7 jack guys at a table, and it's just like, oh, I guess I gotta get jacked. How'd you guys get jacked? You know?
God, this
which
sounds like my head.
To me is so funny. It's so funny.
I would love to be the jacked Magic player LGS.
But no, the Floridian money draft Magic players were in a class of their own. Like they were just so caustic and so brutal in like their shit talking and their hubris, and like you cannot come up among those people and not have a thick skin, I think.
And it's remarkably impressive skill. Because if you gave me Glenn Jones's job, which to be clear, I am A, not qualified for, and B, would be terrible at, I would not have it in me to also go seek out people telling me I'm shitty at it. Like, I just simply wouldn't have it in me, you know? Like, not even to have my finger on the pulse. I would not have it in me to be like, let me go out into the world outside of the confines of my employment and just like lurk in some discords and see what people are saying so I can get better at my job. And I realized that if I were like someone who was single-mindedly dedicated to something like that, I'd be like, all right, here's how I'm going to get better at my job. I think this is genuinely important. The unbelievable ability that this demonstrates to me that I don't have is the ability to cut the signal from the noise, and also the ability to maintain your view of yourself amidst a million people throwing different projections of you at you.
Agreed.
A remarkably impressive thing to do. I would not be able to do it.
I think as you get better at something, it is much easier to sift through the causticness of the internet.
Yeah, I suppose that's true. Like what Glenn can always say to anybody is like, "Lamau, I have this job and you don't, and you know goddamn well you want this job." Like that would help in every interaction if you just can't approach it from that place. I feel like it's like the equivalent of imagining someone in their underwear. You know,
Oh,
this is the new kitten. She did not want to be picked up, so she's gonna try to get off soon. Uh, she's in the middle of zooming around. Also, my other cat is in here, like staring at her. Like that's supposed to be my spot, but she is extreme,
yeah, she is tiny.
very tiny, tiny animal who now
She's
lives in my
so
house.
cute. So cute.
I don't think she has much to say. She can't even meow yet. Like she tries, but like it doesn't work. She sounds like a frog. It's really sick. She can purr like a machine though.
That's good. That's the important part, I think.
Yeah, her and the cat that already lives here, of course, have been engaged in various battles. She flinches a lot at like everything. Like any fast movement, she's just like, "Whoa, dude, you can't do that." And she runs around a lot. That's basically the extent of it so far. But she seems like she's pretty well behaved for a formerly feral cat who my girlfriend's coworker found in like a, I don't know, like a generator or something. Like just somewhere a cat is not supposed to be.
They do be doing that.
Yeah. And she's been doing great. That's the new cat. I introduce her to both Gerry and to the podcast audience, I suppose. I got her on stream one time. Unlike my current cat, I guess old cat, doesn't feel right to say that. Not a big jumper yet.
Established cat.
Established, yeah. Unlike my Magic the Gathering cat, my Marvel Snap cat is unable to do a lot of the jumping that's required. She can jump onto the bed now though. It's a big leap, no pun intended.
Yeah, it's great. I love that.
Yeah.
I want a kitten so bad.
I gotta tell you, rave reviews for me. Like it's been great. I was expecting it to be like kind of ass. This is like the first animal that's been in our house that likes me more than my girlfriend ever. It's just never happened before. Like I would argue maybe our cat is like roughly equal. Dog, not a question to me. The dog likes her way, not necessarily like way more, but like that's her person. She likes me a lot. But like if my girlfriend goes somewhere and I'm with the dog will follow my girlfriend. That's her dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's generally just the person who feeds them the most.
Wasn't me. But the cat
that's what I'm saying.
No, even for this new cat, wasn't me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and she still seems to be more. It's weird. I didn't expect it. This is like my little buddy, you know. Now though, it's crazy.
Huh?
Yeah, I was surprised too. So, rave reviews. This is the one time when like we got a new animal and the person that instinctively bonded with the animal was me instead. We've had 3 animals. It's never been me before. This is our 4th one.
Yep.
First time. I was 0 for 3.
We take those.
Yeah, we absolutely do.
It's dude, you gotta just draw a good mix of lands and spells at some point,
Yeah, eventually. It's the illusion of agency, right? That's the thing that's really important to me here.
Eventually played a game where I didn't get mana screwed.
That's to quote Gavin Ver, hey, sometimes you play perfectly and lose, but sometimes you play perfectly and win. In my case, I have not played perfectly, but I have won. And that's what you do it for, baby. Gavin, the thrust of Gavin's article was that it's all made worse. It's all justified by those games where you play perfectly and win. That is what justifies the entire feeling. That is the core of the love of Magic the Gathering. I put it to you that the core of the love of Magic the Gathering is fucking up dramatically and winning anyway. That's what I'm about. That's why'd you say yeah? You're like the guy who will like fuck up dramatically and be like, I deserve to lose because of that.
Not deserve, but my most dramatic fuck up on camera, I lost that game and then won the tournament still.
Reasonable, I suppose. But yeah, that's the true joy of Magic the Gathering is getting bailed out. Getting lucky, totally not deserving to win. And then that balances out all the times you definitely deserve to win because you definitely had the best deck and you just got totally mana screwed. You know, like that's so true, so factual, in my opinion.
Just get good, man.
Why would I do that? Why would I do that when I could get lucky instead? What are you talking about?
Well, yeah, get lucky is not a thing that we have agency over, you know, so.
But we have the illusion of agency over it.
We have the illusion of agency over getting good and being able to control your destiny.
See, I would argue that superstition is the illusion of agency over getting lucky, and you can tell by what an enduring monument of humanity superstition is over the course of our human history, that clearly the illusion of agency over luck is one of the most important factors in your card game. It's like that.
Dude, I swear to God.
Is a lucky rabbit's foot.
Yeah, I swear to God, man, we need to teach like statistics, correlation, causation, like all of these things, and not just like test people on it, but it's like you got to put them in like a life or death situation where you have to demonstrate that you can utilize these tools, or that like that is your default way of moving throughout the world is using those tools.
Give me an example.
You just fail.
Give me an example of a life or death situation that you would if you were, we'll workshop this. Like I want to go with you on this journey.
I'm macro, not micro in this instance.
So the tools that you want them to demonstrate, what would those tools be? Like, would you be like, okay, there is a guillotine.
Just rationality. I want to teach you how to be a rational person.
Okay. Here's my pitch. You're macro, I'm micro. There's a guillotine about to come down on your head. In front of you is a lucky rabbit's foot and a crowbar. Which do you grab?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my pitch for like a quick and dirty. Let's whip up an idea for this.
They just start reaching for the rabbit's foot and like looking at you like is this
like
is this
just
it?
Like hitting their hand with a ruler? No rabbit's foot. That's how we're gonna run the Magic player dictatorship of the proletariat.
I mean, it obviously, they, the royal they, don't want you to be rational, don't want you to be a free thinker. You're much more
want
difficult.
You on DraftKings.
Yeah, well, obviously. Some of those goddamn commercials.
They want you doing parlay bets, which are the worst kind of bets you could possibly do, and thus somehow magically the most popular. Well, weird how that works out. They want you playing slots. Again, the worst kind of gambling you could possibly do.
I get that it's the worst kind of bet, but what if you have your lucky rabbit's foot though?
Mm-hmm. What actually happens, the thing we actually have agency over with parlays and sports betting is flooding the player's Instagram account with hate because they blew your parlay. That's what we have agency over.
Yeah, true. No, true. And then that'll make it so they don't do it again, for sure.
Obviously, from all the times that it's worked in the past.
Can we talk about just like how morbid a lucky rabbit's foot is? And how creepy that is, too.
I never really thought about it.
I think about it too much.
Yeah, I mean,
which is to say, like once every 5 years.
That is definitely too much. I mean, you're 87 years old. That's a lot of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that creepy?
I wonder what.
Like, how did that get to be a thing? Like, they sell those.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I bet that's actually probably a pretty interesting thing to learn about, like I told you how I went on my, like, I'm learning about Byzantine history kick, right? It was literally just like, I wanted to know why the Pope was the Pope. Like, why was there a guy in Rome who was in charge of this religion, right? And so it turns out, complicated answer. Shockingly, I know. I bet there's probably a cultural belief that this traces back to, and I bet that that's actually probably a pretty interesting thing to learn about. And I realize I could go look that up right now, so I'm gonna need you. I'm gonna need you to
If we weren't recording,
yeah,
normally I would go look this up.
I see.
And I'm surprised that I have never looked this up. I just think about it and I'm just like, yeah, there's no good reason for this. It is just incredibly morbid and I don't know, like
my impression was it was like Irish or something. It looks like, but it's held by people in a great number of places around the world. There are variations of this superstition. The rabbit has to possess certain attributes, such as having been killed in a particular place, using a particular method, or
was the rabbit lucky? Well, given that it's dead, probably not.
Apparently. So in North America, it apparently dates back to hoodoo things. In various it seems to be, yeah, it seems to be related to that's crazy. Okay, so basically it seems to be related to rabbits as a context for not necessarily like literally luck, but the idea is basically that you are harvesting a piece as a sort of relic. You know, like how in Catholic, like, I don't want to say lore.
Body of Christ kind of shit.
No, like they actually have the bodies of saints, like relics of saints. So like the finger bones of some saint are going to have power, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That is, it's tapping into like a similar thing here, where that is it's like a relic of an animal that is fleet and easy to adjust. They were
but
also,
you've just dismembered a random animal and then assigned, I don't know, magical powers to it. And then you carry it around with you.
Yes.
That's bananas. Someone get PETA on this shit.
They're too busy doing whatever it is they do. I fully believe that PETA is a psyop. I genuinely just think that's what they are. I cannot believe that they are anything other than a psyop. But I've got a really funny sentence from the Rabbit's Foot Wikipedia article.
Hit me.
Few of these rabbits' feet carry any warranty concerning their provenance or any evidence that the preparers have made any effort to comply with the rituals required by the original tradition, which is so sick because the first part is like, there's no evidence for this. And the second part is like, and they aren't even using the right rituals. They aren't even using the right luck-based rituals to make these lucky rabbit's foot. Oh my God. That is actually so sick.
That sentence is why I want to teach people rationality.
That's the coolest thing on earth, man. That is unbelievably cool. But I guess there's like kind of a lot of like human animal totem stuff, right? There's rabbit's foot, there's monkey's paw, and then like tusks tend. Oh, dude, do you know what it might be? You know what it might be? It might be like the connection of between like gambler's sleight of hand and the speed of a rabbit. That seems like a pretty plausible thought process to have arrived at this being a totem.
Sure.
I buy that. We're going to make that the thing that people believe. We're going to make that happen. Dude, I'm looking at the list of lucky symbols right now. Think about all these amulets we could be using in order to have better luck in our card games. The number 7.
that is the skill diff right there.
Yes, dude.
How many of these things are you utilizing?
The number 7, the number 8, an albatross.
The number 6 to go with the 7?
No,
right?
No 6.
Right?
No 6. No 6. Bamboo. A chimney sweep. Ladybugs, dream catchers, There's one that's just labeled fish, which pretty generic category here. Feel like you got to do better about that one. 4-leaf clover, shamrocks, horseshoes, jade, Jew with a coin. In Poland,
how do you feel about that one?
I mean, it's just a lot less luck ever since they cycled, coins out of like existence. You know what I mean? Probably just a lot less of those. It's almost like seeing, mosquitoes as a like thing on here. It's like those don't exist anymore. When's the last time I touched a coin? God knows. Pig, python's eyes, rabbit's foot, white rat, wishbone, swastika.
Oh,
it's on the list, I swear.
Oh yeah, my lucky swastika.
Well, I assume it's
multiple cultures.
I'm assuming related to its appearance in Hinduism and Buddhism would be my guess as to that one.
Like my buddy the cactuar.
Yeah, exactly. It's your lucky.
He's still there.
You actually have a lucky swastika.
Yeah,
you literally
that's
have
my totem right there.
Yeah, he's right there. But yeah, it's just apparently just a lot of. Yeah. I mean, I guess most people probably know that it's historically a symbol of good luck before some bad luck happened to it. Bad RNG.
Bad luck.
Well, bad RNG luck for the symbol, right? Like they could have picked any symbol. Imagine you're like a wide bucket of like Aryan ass symbols they could have chosen, right? No one knows what a sun and rod is, but that could have been like a bigger thing, and it wasn't.
It's like Pepe the Frog getting co-opted by the alt-right.
Exactly. Yeah, just bad luck, dude. Yeah. Sorry, wrong place, wrong time. Used to be good luck. Now you're arguably the most hated symbol on Earth. I think that's like probably a pretty safe bet, I would argue. That seems like a safe bet to me. God, remember when we talked about Marvel Snap?
What's that?
Phenomenal. 2 cats in here. You want me to try to get her back on screen?
Nah, it's okay.
Like
you already tormented her enough.
You can see,
I want her to keep liking you.
Bumping my hanging out in the cat tower back there. Gradually exploring the space existing within the space. We still have to lock her up at night though. Largely
because you don't know what's going to happen.
I have a suspicion that she can jump over the gate that we have that is separating her from the rest of the house. I have a suspicion she can do it. I don't necessarily have proof, but I'm like pretty sure she can do it. And we definitely don't want her getting into the parts of the house that, like, at her size, she could get stuck in and not be able to get out. She is extremely small, and we have definitely lost her before. If she gets behind something, she can't make noise to have us find her. Like, it's just not a thing she's functionally capable of. So until she is able to yell at us where she is, and we're able to, like, find her and know where she's going when she's scared, we kind of just have to, in order to know where the hell she is, to do this. Because the last thing we want is we don't know where she is, we open the door, she runs outside.
Nightmare fuel.
Yeah, it's quite bad. I actually do have nightmares about that.
Yeah. The cat that I have like the closest relationship with, I think like he super likes me, I super like him, you know, he's very snuggly, he's my guy. Also you're dumb as a box of rocks.
Yeah, that's your guy. You're barning.
No, well, you could say that he's my barn, I guess.
Yeah. I suppose that's more.
I feed him and he's just like, dude, you're great. You're great, man. Thanks, man.
Hey, Dan, do you want like some daisies?
Yeah. No, like he doesn't give me anything like physical of value, but he gives me lots of love and affection, which is, you know, it's worth way more. But he has gotten stuck behind the refrigerator twice.
Yeah, like when she got out before, my other cat had her ass in the device. She's braver now. My cat trapped her under like a shelving unit and was just like, that's where you go. Like,
Yeah.
you're goddamn right. That's where you go. That's where you live. You live under the shelving unit. That's you. And, you know, she's gotten a lot braver and more willing to fight back against my other cat, which I actually worry I may have hamstrung my cat by stopping her from fighting. Because now the little one is like kind of acting a little bit like she's in charge here. And that's not right. You know, little one's acting a little dominant because I think my cat is smart enough to know that I don't like it when she's hitting the little cat. Right.
Yeah.
So like I'll stop it and she'll look up at me and like yell at me. She'll be like, "Let me do this."
Yeah.
Like this. And so I think we have actually unfortunately modified her out of her natural behavior, which is to establish a pecking order. And I worry that might put her at the bottom of the pecking order.
It won't.
Good. That's something I'm concerned with.
I don't think it will. Like, to this day, like I've had my cats for 5 years now, and Ren, the dummy, who lives behind the refrigerator sometimes, definitely thinks of himself as the dominant, and he will go after the little cat who was on this podcast. And like, I don't know, she's like 6 years old. It's not like she's a baby. She's just small, and he bullies her all the time, and isn't mean about it. Doesn't make actual contact, but just frequently like tests her.
Yeah, they'll like lie down through the gate and just like swat at each other like this. Like,
yeah,
it's so sick. It's extremely cute, and I think they will probably be friends at some point, and maybe they actually already are. Like, one thing that I really want out of this is for my current cat, just to have someone to run around with. What I really want, but I can't figure out a good way to make this relate to Marvel Snap. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna call it here. We're not gonna draw our out, and I'm gonna go pick up this cat one more time. My God, she ran away. I'm not doing that at all. I'm not. I thought I moved slow enough. I don't even think she doesn't want to be here. I just think that like I moved so fast that.
Yeah, she's just like, this can't be good.
Nope.
Gotta get out of here.
She's about to knock down a box that has a ring light in it. And when she does, she's going to run away too. Oh, wow. Managed to avoid it by burrowing through a bunch of clothes. I'm sure this is some super compelling play-by-play. Hold on, I got her again. All right, we got Simba over here.
Everything the ring light touches is your kingdom. Oh, kittens are so cute, man.
My new kitten. That's who she is.
Yeah, big blink. Yeah.
Not very good at balancing. My other cat just came in. As I dropped her on the ground, they are now fighting. I think we're going to have to call it there. Have a wonderful evening, y'all. Thank you for sticking around to get a glimpse of my tiny little cat. And we will see you next week.